Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Comic Hall. I'm your host, Dylan Lang, wearing my festive green for St. Patrick's Day, which is on Saturday. A lot going on this week. The Ides of March is tomorrow. Today is Pi Day. It's St. Patrick's Day on Saturday, and March Madness all starts. So we got all kinds of crazy. But you know what? We're not here to see any of that. We're here to see comics. And here is this week's version of the Comic Hall. Again, seems to be about the most usual size, and it's not really going down, even though there are books that I haven't bought this week. There's some interesting books here this week, some end of eras, end of miniseries, new books. We'll see. And a green book for you. So it's all good. Someone that has a symbol, much like this. Anyway, we're going to start with something unusual because I haven't really been the biggest fan of this series, but it is Action Comics number 999. This is Dan Jurgens' final issue of Superman. He might have a story in the 1000, which I guess is coming in 2 weeks then, which I guess puts that at the beginning of April, around Easter, I suppose. But this is his final story that wraps up all his story arcs and stuff like that. It's written by Dan Jurgens with art by Will Conrad, and features a conversation between Lois and her father Sam, which we haven't seen in a while. And that's really about it, plus a conversation between Superman and Cyborg Superman. So all kinds of interesting stuff happening here. Maybe I should move up closer. And then, of course, we know Bendis is coming. So this is the last bit of Superman you're going to see for a while. That's not Bendis. It's very Dan Jurgens-esque style. So figured good way to start the comic haul off with the last issue of Dan Jurgens' run. Even though, as I said, 1000 is going to be more of a celebration of Superman with a number of different stories by different creative teams, including Michael Bendis. So, what else is ending this week? Ragman number 6 is out this week. Ragman has been an extraordinary series. I've enjoyed it immensely. Ray Fawkes and Aniki Miranda have been doing a wonderful job with the story, and they wrap it up nice and neatly as expected. And that's great. That's what you want to see. Featuring appearances by the Demon and a few other stuff as well. So it looks good. It looks like it was a lot of fun. And maybe we'll get more Ragman down the line. But right now, that is the last bit of Ragman right there. This isn't the end of anything. It's a little bit over half, and the story keeps getting stranger. It's Mr. Miracle number 7. Newest issue is out this week. Again, utilizing the 9-panel grid that Tom King, the writer, is making Mitch Gerads the inker or writer or artist do. Excuse me. Tom King's the writer and Mitch Gerads is the artist. Time is relative here because at the end of last issue, Barda said she's pregnant and now she's having the baby. And also has an appearance by the Granny's I forget what their names are, but Granny's people are there too. So Mr. Miracle's been good. Tom King's been doing a hell of a job writing, so definitely should check that out as well. Sideways number 2, continuing the new age of superheroes. Dan Didio, Justin Jordan, and Kenneth Rockfort. They need every new age of heroes needs a Peter Parker-esque type of character, and this is it. It's an interesting book. The first issue was interesting. It just, I don't know if it can keep my interest, but yes, it is definitely their version of Peter Parker. So we shall see what happens with that. Next up, we have Detective Comics number 976, continuing the word balloons on the covers. There's a bunch out this week, and a lot of it is on some of the variant covers, and you'll see a few more in the pile there. It's written by James Tynion IV, with art by, where are you? Probably at the very end here. Javier Fernandez. I think this is harkens back to the Batman Eternal storyline, which I didn't really read all that much. So we'll see what happens. There's a confrontation between Tim and Batman. So we'll see what happens with that. So detective. It's still, a interesting series. So well worth to check it out in Batman's family. So good on that. Be entering 1,000 in about 30 issues. So next up, more word balloons on covers. This one is Red Hood and the Outlaws number 20, which is a really good series. Soy's back. Dexter Soy's back after a little bit of a hiatus. It's good to see him back with Scott Lobdell. Dexter Soy really does a good job with the artwork. I love his style. And the book is a lot more entertaining than I thought it was when I read the first 13 issues or something like that. It was fantastic. I haven't been reading the more recent ones lately, but it's actually been more impressive than I thought it would be. So Red Hood and the Outlaws, so I'm going to keep buying that. Number 20 there. Titans number 21. This one's going to be ending soon, so I figure I'll just keep going until it's over. You got good story by Dan Abnett with art by Paul Pelletier, who is one of those artists that you want to, you'd love to keep on because he's consistent and makes the stuff look good. So it's a interesting take on the Titans. They're falling apart. So we'll see what happens. Andrew Hennessy is also the inker on this. So we'll see what happens. But this will be ending soon because they're going to be dissolving the Titans and the Teen Titans when the new Justice League stuff comes out. So we'll see what happens. Supergirl number 19 is out this week also. Story by Steve Orlando. Art by, who is this person? Steve Orlando and Vida Ayala are the writers, and Jamal Campbell is the artist. Jamal Campbell's good artwork, and I wonder if Steve Orlando is going to be leaving the book soon. I thought he wrote somewhere that he was going to be leaving because he's writing one of the new Age of Hero books as well, and he's probably might be picking up some other stuff because I think his Justice League of America is ending too, which came out this week also, but because I'm not collecting it as much, I didn't get it. Wonder Woman also came out this week again. Until they get a new creative team, I'm not going to collect that anymore. Scooby Apocalypse came out this week also. I'm not going to be collecting that anymore either, which is a shame because I like giving it to Maddie's, but I need to start cutting down because money's getting tight again, and we'll see. Speaking of green, Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps, number 40. Continuing the General Zod story, which I've already told you how unhappy I am with it. Robert Venditti, Rafa Sandoval, and Jordan Tarragona is a creative team. Just okay. Yeah, it's General Zod and stuff like that. But I mean, it's nice artwork, but it's just, I'm so bored of General Zod. Keep hearing thumps upstairs. I wonder what's going on. I don't know. Must be the wind. Next will be a Flash number 42, which I think is going to start the Flash War storyline soon. It's written by Joshua Williamson with art by Dan Panasian. Right now, Wally West is the Flash, but Barry's trying to get back to being the Flash. So he gets help from Godspeed, who is a bad guy, and some interesting speedsters and some Gorilla Grodd stuff, and interesting takes on some things. So we'll see. That's it for DC. Marvel. New Mutants number 1. This is kind of interesting. It's a limited series, and it's kind of a shame that it got kind of screwed a little bit because it was already in the system when the New Mutants movie was going to be out around this time. But now the New Mutants movie is not going to come out till next year, but they still had to produce the book. And so, this is a more horror-oriented version of the New Mutants. It's written by Matthew Rosenberg with art by Adam Gorham. Features Richter, Boom Boom, Magic, Strong Guy, and Wolfsbane. So I had to pick it up because it's New Mutants. It's a different take on them, but they are trying too hard to. They were trying to connect with the TV, and rather the movie that was going to be out this month, but the movie has moved to next year. So now they're just going to have to hope that the series gets popular and they can do another one at this time next year. But so far, so good. We'll see what that one works out to be. But that's just a bad timing on that end. Unbeatable Squirrel Girl number 30. I bought this for my daughter. She loves Squirrel Girl. It's her favorite superhero now. And the fact is we're counting down to Erica Henderson's leaving as the artist. She's been doing the art for forever. But Ryan North is the writer. Erica Henderson is the artist. She will be leaving the series soon. Don't know who the new creative team is yet. I think the writer's still going to be on there, but she's going to be a new artist. Hopefully it'll keep the same sort of general feel to it. So, because my daughter likes Squirrel Girl and doesn't want too many changes. So we'll see what happens. But until then, I mean, Erica Henderson is still going to be drawing it for a little while, but keep an eye on that. This Squirrel Girl number 30. Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man number 301. Written by Chip Zdarsky with art by Joe Quinones and inks by Joe Rivera. There's kind of a weird storyline in here, which I have to figure out. Looks like that he's crossing over with the movies a little bit and sort of bringing back old school stuff. So it seems to be a weird story. So we'll see what happens with that. Also by Chip Zdarsky, we have Marvel 2-in-1, The Thing and the Human Torch number 4. Chip Zdarsky. Oh, I'm sorry. Who did the artwork? Oh, I did Joe Quinones. This is written by Chip Zdarsky with art by Valerio Schiti. Which is a shame because I bought it for Jim Chung, and I knew the minute that he was announced as writer, he'd only draw a couple issues, and then he'd be gone or wouldn't be back for many issues to come. But you know, Schiti looks like they're doing a pretty good job. So we'll see. I'm not sure exactly how I feel about certain things, so we'll see. But there's that one. From Marvel's Star Wars branch, we got 2 new books. We have Thrawn number 2, continuing the saga, the story of Thrawn, who was a character in the expanded universe of books before they knocked them out of continuity. And then when they brought continuity back in, they brought Thrawn in on Star Wars Rebels, and now they have him in the comic world. Jody Houser, writer, Luke Ross, artist. So if you've wanted to know about Thrawn, I think this is a 6-issue miniseries. So if you want to learn about Thrawn in his early days and how he got to where he is, check that out. Also, we have Darth Vader number 13, which has amazing Giuseppe Camuncoli artwork and is written by Charles Soule. Danielle Orlandini also is inking this stuff as well. It is a story that takes place very soon after Anakin has been turned into Darth Vader. So, but the artwork is very nice, very clean. And Darth Vader has been probably one of the best Star Wars comic books, both in its first iteration and now this one also. So goes pretty good. Finally, we have the independent books. We're going to start. I think I have them all in order. So first up, we have Vampironica number 1. Archie has been mixing up their genres a little bit. They have a horror thing called Archie Horror, a horror imprint. The first one of that was Afterlife with Archie, about the zombie apocalypse that takes place in Riverdale. And that became really popular. They decided to spin out Sabrina from there and turned it into more of a horror book. And so that book's out. Then they decided to expand a little bit, and they did Jughead the Hunger, where Jughead becomes a werewolf. And now we have Vampironica, where Veronica becomes, guess what, a vampire. It's written by Greg and Meg Smallwood, who are husband and wife, and it's drawn by Greg Smallwood. As I said, it's not your child's, it's not your parents' Archie, I should say. It is a new version of Archie, and it's Veronica as a vampire, and we learn how she becomes a vampire and all the stuff that comes after that. So the horror series has been doing pretty good. So interesting. So can't wait to read it because you know, they've done a really, really good job with the horror books. So check that out. Something new, something different. And if you like Riverdale, why not check that out as well? Aftershock Comics continues to surprise, and they have a new book out called Betrothed, #1, which looks pretty good. It's written by Sean Lewis with art by Steve Ouve. The basic premise is this girl and this guy hate each other in high school, but then they learn that they are actually an alien king and queen, or prince and princess, who are betrothed to each other, and if they do not marry each other, they are going to cause galactic war, or something like that. So worth a look. Just check that out. Aftershock is doing a wonderful job with their comics, so got some #1s there. Image has got Versus #2, written by Yvonne Brandon, I should say, and Esad Ribic. Esad's artwork is what's drawing me to this. Yvonne Brandon's been doing pretty good, so the artwork is stunning, and it's a futuristic sci-fi type of world with giant robots and stuff like that. So should be interesting one as well. I haven't read the first issue yet. Here's issue #2 is out now, so you can probably pick up both. If not, they did release a second printing of #1, so you can pick that up. That came out this week as well. Legendary Red Sonja #2 is a miniseries as well. It's written by Mark Andreyko with art by Igor Lima. So it's basically Red Sonja in the age of steampunk. So it's not barbarian Red Sonja, but it's hot chick in metal bikini. Hot chicks. There's another one in skin tight outfits fighting here. This is what I'm really looking forward to. Gail Simone writing Red Sonja Tarzan, which is coming up soon. So there we go. Next up, we have Back to the Future Time Train, Tales from the Time Train #3. This basically follows the life of Doc Brown and his family as they travel through time in the time train. Bob Gale and John Barber with art by Megan Levins. Now, again, I always say this, Bob Gale was the guy who wrote the original Back to the Future story or movie trilogy, and has written the original 25-issue comic that came first, and is now writing this as well. So if you like time travel stories, you like Back to the Future, you want to know what's going on with the time train, what Doc Brown's been up to, this is a book you want to pick up. Speaking of hot chicks in tight outfits, Barbarella from Dynamite #4 is out this week. Mike Carey, writer, Jorge Fournier's artist. It is mature readers. There is sex and nudity in it. So, because that's what Barbarella was, really, to be honest. So, sexploitation film from the 70s with Jane Fonda in it. But now you get some cool artwork and some cool sci-fi stuff, and hot chicks and cute little animals. So you get a little bit of everything. It's a nice cover too. Just in time for Easter. Easter is in, let me see, today is the 14th. It is the 1st of April. So 18 days. Easter is in 18 days. And I'm a Catholic, and we are in the middle of Lent right now. And we all know the saga of what happened with Jesus on the cross and how he was betrayed by Judas. Well, Judas has always been one of those characters that, could be misrepresented. Go see Jesus Christ Superstar for that matter, where it has been postulated that Judas's job was to be the one to turn Jesus over, because if none of the apostles did it, Jesus would never have, gotten captured by the Romans and tortured and crucified unless Judas did it, unless an apostle did it, and it was Judas' job to do it. So basically Judas is the one that brought about Christianity for the most part. and they sort of cover that in this comic. So it's a little bit different comic. This is Judas #4 from Boom Studios, the final issue of the miniseries, written by Jeff Loveness and Jacob Rebelka. It's a different take on the Jesus and Judas storyline. But again, if you're looking for different things, I've already shown you some different things, some science fiction stuff and fantasy stuff and sexy stuff and superhero stuff and Star Wars stuff. Well, now we're getting, some religious stuff. So it's a beautiful looking book, and just in time for Easter, I probably will read all 4 issues in one sitting, probably in a couple weeks, right around Easter time. So we will see. And finally, we end again on another note. The Power of the Dark Crystal, number 12 of 12. Simon Spurrier, Philip Kennedy Johnson writers, Kelly Nicole Matthews artists. This is from Archaea, which is a subset of Boom. And I have to mention Boom Studios. My friend, Philip Sablik, who trained me to be a brand manager, has moved on to be an executive at, not here, he would probably be an executive at Boom Studios. I just don't have it right here anyway. But Boom Studios has now become a premier vendor, so you'll be start seeing it in the same vein as Marvel, DC, Image, Dark Horse, and IDW. So, and now Boom Studios. And this is Archaea's part of this. This is for the fans of the Dark Crystal. This is the final issue of the Dark Crystal saga in the comics. I should probably show some of the artwork. Duh. My wife, this is really for my wife because she loves the Dark Crystal stuff and is looking forward to the Netflix series, which I think will probably be out next year, I think is what they're saying. They're probably filming it now. We'll be filming it really soon. So if you like the Dark Crystal stuff and the storylines, this is your comic for you. So we had some ends, we had some beginnings, and we had other stuff, but that is this week's comic haul. This weekend is St. Patrick's Day. It's Ides of March tomorrow. It is Pi Day. It's all kinds of exciting stuff. So go to your local comic book store this weekend. They might have some St. Patrick's Day sales going on. My store hasn't done anything yet, so we'll see what they're doing. Do whatever you want. Wear your Green Lantern, your Riddler stuff, whatever, if you want to. If you want to celebrate the green on St. Patrick's Day, go to your comic book store. Pick up some green comic books if you want and read them out. Or if you're just a fan of comic books, just go ahead and pick them up. If you don't know where your comic book store is, go to your search engine, type in Comic Shop Locator Service. When the website pops up, click on the website, boom, jump in there, put your zip code. It'll give you a list of all the comic stores within about 20-mile radius of your house. And then you just need to go and see them. That you can connect, and maybe they'll connect you to their websites and directions and stuff like that. So just go to the comic book store, pick up some of the stuff that I showed you today. That is definitely not everything that came out this week. There was a whole bunch of stuff that came out this week. That's just a small sampling. That's what I'd buy. That was a lot of money. So, go in and find out what you want. A lot of stores do special sales and stuff. My store might be doing a St. Patrick's Day sale. I haven't seen it yet. We'll find out if they do. And it'll be fun just to go do comic stuff. So until next week, I'm Dylan Lang, and go to your comic store, enjoy, read comics, and have fun. Happy St. Patrick's Day, happy Ides of March, happy Pi Day. I think I hit everything.